Hello Internet, this is Intro to Java Video 1. Today we'll be demonstrating how to get a simple Java file set up, as well as going over some basic data types and methods. Firstly, whenever you start a project, you type public class, and then whatever the name of the file is. By convention, we always start with main.java, but sometimes you might see app.java or something similar. The name you choose doesn't matter whatsoever for our purposes today. Just remember to start off with a capital letter, not a number, not a special symbol. What we just did was we wrote a class header. This helps Java organize different parts of our program to define logic. To define logic, we use these curly braces as seen here. Now this next part might seem tedious, especially if you're coming from a language like Python or JavaScript, but Java is an object-oriented programming language, so in order to run our logic, we must create a method known as main as such. Public static void main string args. Now, the difficult part is remembering this. Later on, you will eventually understand what all of this means. But essentially, we are defining a special method that when compiled, Java will recognize as being the place where we want our code to run. A lot of Java is redundant and boilerplate for the sake of type safety and reliable software. The first data type I want to cover in this video is strings. Strings are just a sequence of characters, letters, and numbers. In Java, we specify variables by declaring their class. For strings, we type it as so, making sure to keep it capitalized. I won't go into why string is capitalized, but essentially in Java, data types like booleans and ints can be lowercase, but strings must be uppercase because they perform special methods. So after we specify that this is indeed a string, we name it. This can be whatever you want, as long as the name doesn't conflict with anything specified before. After the name, we add a equal sign, assigning whatever is to the right to the left. Then we can use quotation marks to specify the bounds of our string. Right now I'm going to type hello world and then close it off with a semicolon, telling Java that this line of logic is over. Now that we have a variable, we can run this, but if you see, nothing really happens. It's not all that interesting. We can make text appear into the terminal by typing this line here. System.out.println. Now, whatever we pass inside these parentheses, we will get printed out into the console. So if we put in our string from before as such, and then run this again, we can see that it did in fact print hello world. Now that we've gotten an understanding of how strings work, let me introduce you to ints, which in Java are any positive or negative whole numbers. We write a variable the same as we did with our strings, but instead of declaring it as type string, we tell Java it's an int, this time lowercase because ints are not objects and don't have properties or methods attached to them. So we can call this my age and just say 100. That's not true, but anyways. As I said before, these can only store whole numbers, meaning that if you want to store 100.5, Java won't let you because it can't store that physically. If you want to store numbers with a decimal point, you could use another data type known as doubles. So double something. is equal to 1.5. We also have another very useful data type known as booleans, which can either be true or false. So boolean completed is equal to true. Now if we print these variables, you get exactly what you would expect. Yeah, it prints out literal definitions. Within parentheses, where you pass in data, you can even perform arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. If we run this, everything works exactly as you would expect. So let's just say 1 plus 2, or even better yet, age. Then we run this. Yeah, 102. Now, what happens if you want to add an int or anything else with a string? Now, first let's change this to something like my age is, and then pass it in here, and then we quote unquote add my age. Now, in Java, it's just gonna tack on that age after the string. But one drawback of this is after you show Java a string, whatever it is, to make it clear, I'm going to pass it over here and get rid of these variables. After you give Java a string, it'll only want strings from there on out. Meaning, if I wanted to do 1 plus 2 here, I'd be able to. And it will give me 3, but afterwards, if I want to do something like plus 3, it won't let me do simple addition anymore. This becomes 3. This doesn't become 103. It just gets tacked on. That's the same thing with booleans. So if I set it to true, it just says 100 true, or maybe 1.5. It's just how it is. I believe this is more than enough content for our first lesson. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to create your own methods, such as main, and take in parameters and do some really useful things. So, see you guys the next time.